For an entire generation of players, they fell in love with Vice City so much it made them care about all things 80s. Something like Stranger Things might be doing the same for a younger generation growing up now, but for me and people in their late 20s/early 30s, Rockstar's trip to not Miami remains one of the finest entertainment experiences of them all. Stick I Ran by Flock of Seagulls on and millions of us will crack a knowing smile, remembering the first time we heard the track on the game's trailers, then blaring out the back of a ruthless stinger as the sun set in the background. For those who haven't played this iteration in Rockstar's seminal crime series, literally just go do that right now. Vice City is one of the PS2 classics available on PS4 if you own the system, and it still has an identifiable vibe that I love getting lost in. Going forward, it sounds like Rockstar are going to be going back to their depiction of the legendary East Coast city, and though I'm going to go into full speculation mode for this video, I think it makes perfect sense. Vice City has long been the fan favourite of the 3D era titles, and after GTA 4 went to Liberty City and GTA 5 skipped a beat to bring us San Andreas in HD, Vice City is likely the next one in line. Personally, I can't wait to see what Rockstar do for GTA 6, and taking the next game as a blank canvas, I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and this is GTA 6, 10 Things It Must Learn from Vice City. Number 10, pick a romanticized time period. One thing that made GTA Vice City memorable right from the get-go was its setting. From the very first scene where a Hawaiian-shirted Tommy and his associates meet lawyer Ken Rosenberg with his pastel pink suit and the sleeves rolled up, it was obvious that an 80s thrill ride awaited. Aside from GTA London 1969, a much-loved expansion to the original game, and obviously San Andreas, very few Grand Theft Auto games have broken the modern-day setting and told a story in the past. Could it be time for GTA to revisit a British setting with a recreation of London, or even somewhere else but still rooted in the 70s? Hell, I would take more 60s punk rock Britain. That was one hell of a time, or so I'm told, rife with cultural talking points to ridicule, and most importantly, the soundtrack assembles itself. Speaking of which, number 9, a phenomenal soundtrack. I honestly couldn't tell you a single song from GTA's 4 and 5. Not one. I know 4 had that Russian station that was always fun to throw on when you were messing around, and 5 had Maroon 5 or something. Vice City though? Iron Maiden, Hall & Oates, Blondie and Toto. San Andreas? Guns N' Roses, Rod Stewart, Leonard Skinner, Creedence Clearwater Revival and Ice Cube. Today was a very good day. These were soundtracks that shaped our lives, songs we carried forward away from their respective games and into iTunes and Spotify playlists. A truly great game soundtrack exemplifies the feel of the title that it's attached to. It amplifies the events on screen and immerses you even more. It's something GTA 5 tried to do through sheer amount of songs, but its stations were too limited and largely similar in style across the board. Flylow FM and Soulwax FM were notably way too similar. With Vice City, things were simpler and much clearer. The talk show radio stations were much funnier, and the music sat perfectly amongst the violence and carnage of the game. Ask anyone about Vice City and they all remember the soundtrack. For GTA 6, that should be the exact same. Number 8, references. To be fair to Rockstar, their reasons for dropping many of the references which left an indelible mark on people after Vice City are solid enough. Developing GTA 5, the company had grown up and become a multi-million-dollar organization, proving that they can create a stunning story which stands on its own in the likes of Red Dead Redemption. That being said, it might be time to return to some of the more classic styles which made the series great. There's no doubt that GTA 5 is a marvel of game design, but its story seems fractured, creating a desire to be at the cutting edge of the zeitgeist in everything from the soundtrack to the cars, yet leaving it feeling devoid of anything that stands out. Vice City, which was a Miami Vice ripoff to the point of having some of its cast and Crockett and Tubbs chase you down at the 5-star wanted level mark, was filled to the brim with all sorts of film references. Aside from Tommy's obvious resemblance to Tony Montana from Scarface, there are also nods to Carlito's Way, The Godfather, Jaws, and even football star turned actor turned murder suspect O.J. Simpson. Rockstar have to ask themselves, is GTA parodying the modern day by holding up a reflection to its current state, or tackling modern day attitudes by addressing where they came from? Number 7, make the cars the stars. From the Infernus to the piddly little cart you could steal from the golf course, every single car in Vice City popped with personality. Even Ken's banged-up Mercedes knockoff seen in the opening sequence was pretty memorable. It's something which has been lacking from every iteration since, although GTA 5 did try to bring this back, and obviously GTA Online has gone hog wild with conceptual designs across the board. Let's stick to numbered installments though, as there's just no true personality in the modern day cars. Maybe it's also in the way that they sport, meaning you're infinitely more likely to find a boring family sedan than a roaring bright yellow sports car. In Vice City in particular, it felt like 1 in 5 cars was something you desperately wanted to drive, and it only encouraged every other element of gameplay alongside. Please, Rockstar, bring back more consistent spawns of freaking awesome cars. Number 6. Memorable mission givers. Much like the cars, there wasn't a forgettable character across all of Vice City. Whilst many of them are lame stereotypes, obvious pastiches of film characters, or downright racial stereotypes, at least they're all memorable. From Lance Vance to Mercedes Cortez, from Laszlo to Lovefist, every character in Vice City is energetic, bursting with personality, and for the most part, charm. Again, Rockstar failing to age the series in GTA 4 and then falling back on older quirks with the main trio in GTA 5 showed a struggle to confidently evolve the franchise. But this almost cartoony, vignette-style approach to mission-giving cutscenes is what we need. Besides being a signature element of the franchise's best installments, it lets the writers invert things like the parody missions of GTA 5 by including way more ridiculous circumstances, but putting them in cutscenes and giving the script the focus. Because nobody actively wanted to stealth their way through that Life Invader mission or to take on a whole bunch of dock work. But having our character come across someone already undercover as one of those missions is underway, and then have to tell you about what your next mission is, that is the GTA we came to know and love. Number 5. Bring back celebrity voice talent. Vice City is as memorable for the sheer number of well-known voices it contains as taking to the skies in a helicopter or running amok with a chainsaw in the North Point Mall. In terms of famous people, Vice City has arguably the most impressive list of voice actors in video game history. In addition to Ray Liotta playing Tommy to Gary Busey appearing as Phil Cassidy, you also had Lee Majors, Danny Trejo, Jenna Jameson, Dennis Hopper, Kevin McKidd, and Burt Reynolds. Even Debbie Harry makes an appearance as a taxi controller. Comparatively, there was a decision made to move away from this stunt casting approach with GTA 4 and 5. And while I agree that too many can ruin a game and make it feel like a Saturday Night Live sketch, GTA clearly benefits from having a lively, fun cast. Number 4. Do businesses properly. Something which is sorely lacking from GTA 5 are asset missions. In that game, you get a regular cash bonus just by buying a business, meaning that things like the Downtown Cab Company or Smoke on the Water felt like distractions from the myriad other missions and side quests that were available. In Vice City, you had to work for your money. Buying a business was one thing, but then you needed to complete missions in order to start earning. It brought in more characters, meant players felt connected to their property, and most importantly, added another level of challenge in order to get a nice little earner in return. GTA has flirted with the Empire business a handful of times over the years, and next to Vice City stories, the first Vice City was the closest Rockstar got to making us feel like a business mogul looking over various rackets at once. Number 3. Bring back the mob. As an entertainment concept, the Mafia has been done to death and back again. But given the popularity of the overarching gangster pastiche in Vice City, the time might have come for GTA to revisit the Cosa Nostra. Almost completely absent from GTA 5, the Mafia are a cultural touchstone for every generation. Still holding huge appeal for those who grew up on films like The Godfather and Goodfellas, bringing them back into the fold would allow GTA to reconnect with their core demographic. One of the beauties of the mob in Vice City was that you felt like you were a cog in a much bigger machine, where events decided by other characters could influence your life without you having much say. It's something lost in the 3-character dynamic of GTA 5, would let the crime side of a given city feel alive, and could impact the narrative as well, giving us all sorts of different villains and powerful figures to contend with. Number 2. A monumental story moment or plot twist. Something Vice City did extremely well was put a sting in the tail of its story. Spoilers for a game released in 2002, but your partner across the whole game, Lance Vance, betrays and sells out Tommy in an attempt to get more cash. Whereas the storyline of GTA 5 finds itself petering out slightly, unless you're a sociopath and decide to kill your friends, Vice City kept things succinct and blew you away when it turned out Tommy's trusted colleague is willing to betray him just for business. Combine some earlier points that I've mentioned, like bringing back the mob or having a notable criminal element moving and shaking everything up, and betrayals or power structure changes can only enhance the story side of GTA overall. In Lance's case, clearly he had issues with Tommy's higher cut of the profit after treating him as a business partner throughout the game, and the signs are there for those who want to read them. GTA 6 can learn a lesson from its forebear and might want to introduce a whole bunch of important characters just to see where the story will take them. While 5's 3-protagonist system works very well, the 3 never seem to get close enough to another character in order for their inevitable betrayal to be anything more than, oh, okay, sure. Number 1. An identifiable visual style. I've mentioned picking a time period with plenty to offer, but visual identities for GTA games are a huge deal too. Because GTA has kinda gotten itself into a bit of a rut when it comes to visual style. With GTA 4, Rockstar showcased their new Rage engine, and as a company, they've been prioritizing realistic character models, cityscapes, and everything in between ever since. Now, I'm not asking for an overly cartoony or over-animated GTA, but if I mention Vice City, you'll think of sun-kissed streets, orange setting suns, Hawaiian shirts, top-down sports cars, and an overall feel of glitz and excess. Also, whenever its name comes up, Chinatown Wars tends to have its art style associated with its namesake, and that only helps differentiate installments across the entire canon. Rockstar should experiment more with visual filters, lens flares, color palettes, and however many other elements that let us point and think that is GTA 6, just in the same way that we always do with Vice City. And that is my list of things I really hope Rockstar pay attention to if they're going to be returning to Vice City. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below and any other gameplay features you want them to focus on. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com. Please check out the What Culture Gaming podcast, and I'll catch you soon.